Oh, it's a hair pick. I was like, what? I'm so confused. Correct.
I don't have a fan, but I have a fist.
Me too.
I will be a fan of you both. How about that? There's a fan. I'm the fan. I'm the fan of you both. That's what's happening.
We appreciate your solidarity.
Absolutely.
Because I'm what? An ally.
An ally. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm like, this is the month for me to be the ally. Usually it's Lana here on this channel. But this month, it's me.
Work.
Oh, goodness. Hola, hola, hola. Y bienvenidos a The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I'm drinking the leftover little bit I have left of my energy drink concoction of the moment, which is strawberry orange in this beautiful orange color fitting for Drag Race España, I will say. And I'm drinking it in my cup mug today.
Mm-hmm.
Cup mug. Da-na-na-na-na, cup mug. Da-na-na-na-na, cup mug. Ow.
Ew.
I've got water as well, but that's less exciting. So,
Yeah.
And where, Lana, could you get this fabulous mug?
You can get this mug or any of our fabulous merch at lanagscreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the U.S., so there are no excuses. And España, Spain, I'm looking at you. I'm looking right at you. Get your cup, mug, or merch, period. But hello, I am Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I was drinking tea earlier. I'll show Eve my Milo's extra sweet tea.
Where do you get that from? I've never seen that before.
Oh, this is where it's
okay.
at.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because when Lana showed me the extra sweet, I was like, I'd never had the extra sweet.
I've never seen that brand.
Milo's.
Oh, I love Milo's.
Milo's tea is the tea.
It's the sweet
South.
tea.
It is the sweet tea. But you might have
Gold Peak?
No, it's a restaurant chain, Milo's.
Oh, okay. See, I've never heard of Milo's.
Yeah. Milo's is a restaurant chain called Milo's. You might can find it on Amazon, but I used to get mine from Walmart. But I don't. If you haven't seen it, you probably don't have it. But
I was gonna say Walmart usually has them stocked.
You know what I might do? You know what I might do for you, Eve? I might buy some and ship you some. Because, and you too, Logan, because you have to have it. Like, I feel like you just have to have that in your life at least once. So I might ship you a couple of bottles so y'all can.
Hey, I ain't mad at that.
Okay.
I'm down.
Do a little taste test reaction.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I might do that in the next few weeks or so.
Like I'm Tennessee, so I am a sweet tea snob. So
yeah. You'll love this.
And while I don't drink as much sweet tea as anybody else here on this panel, I do love some sweet tea when I get it. So,
but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Maybe we can make that a video. We can make
a
tasting video.
Maybe.
Very, very BuzzFeed. And I'll
BuzzFeed, very BuzzFeed. We'll line it up in all the different tea brands and be taste that.
Honestly, we should do that for the memberships, which I'll talk about here once we get through our beautiful intros.
Period. But I'm drinking Sunkiss right now because it went with my dinner. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm available for weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, and funerals.
Period.
And what is happening, everyone? It is me, Eve the Bunny, Chicago drag icon. We're not just an artiste anymore, baby. We're speaking magnitudes upon my glory. So it's icon for here and evermore. And also the Queen of Ivy Park. I'm wearing my favorite, honestly, piece from any of my Ivy Park stuff, and it's my Park Trail jacket. Which is so funny because I absolutely 350% hated camo with a passion. living in Southwest Missouri, and now it's like honestly my favorite, most comfortable, stylish gear. So I have it on. I'm getting ready for country season. Getting my boots and my spurs together since Beyonce said we're going down to the rodeo. I said, okay,
absolutely.
This ain't Texas.
And we don't hold them.
So lay your card down.
They made all this money, but they never take the country out me.
Period.
Hot
Period.
Sauce in a bag.
Hot sauce in a bag swag.
I forgot to ask you when I saw you yesterday for season 16 what you thought about the new Beyonce. I had a lot to ask you about yesterday because it's been a minute. But
when it all happened, I was losing it because I originally got invited to a Super Bowl thing a little bit later on in the day, and so I was like, okay, I'll go and see it. But I was watching Drag Race episodes and kind of catching up.
Sure.
And I was like, well, I know that I really don't want to sit there through a whole 4-hour game. I really don't care about except for just the commercials in the middle. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just get there around halftime, watch the halftime show, and then stay there for that part.
Sure.
So I was about to get on the train and do that. I ended up missing my train, so it ended up throwing me behind. So I was like, well, you know what? Time-wise, I don't think I'm going to make it there when the halftime show goes. I'm just going to go back home. So I'm home, chilling, minding my business. I see on Twitter the halftime show happened. And then I see on Twitter that people started posting the video from the Verizon commercial. And I was like, okay, this is what we want to see anyway. This is what I want to see. And then when I saw it, and then it said, wait, drop the new music. And I said, I said, no, she just said that. And then I go on Twitter and everyone is saying, where's the music, Beyonce? You said there's music, where's the music? And I'm like, no, that's just part of her going to quote unquote break the 5G thing or whatever. Like, she just said that to say it. And then literally like 10 minutes later or something, I was like, it's kind of crazy that she would say something like that just to say it. I was like, usually she don't do stuff like that. And then I started seeing track lists. And I said, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I was walking outside, like by people's cars and everything, while I'm just sitting on Twitter, flipping out in the middle of the night, like, what? Wait, what? And then when I finally heard the songs, I didn't hear 16 Carriages for a minute. I heard Texas Hold'em first, and it started. I was like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
Yep.
I said, this is going to be a problem because, one, I want to hear this in the club. I don't know how we're going to play in the club. We played in the club last night, though. It was banging. It was so good. Toto was playing in the club, and I was like, thank God. Can count on her to do that. But I was like, wait a minute. The TikTok dances for this? Wait a minute. I was like, wait, so this is all for a whole new album? I was like, so there's a whole new album. So that means we're getting a whole nother set of visuals.
Yep.
We're getting another 16 to 20 songs.
Yep.
We're getting another tour.
Correct.
We're probably getting another video, another movie.
Yes.
We're probably getting a movie for each leg of the tour.
And guess what? We ain't even done yet because this is a trilogy. We're getting a whole nother record after this. Later on, after the tour is over and the movie is dropped, we're getting a whole nother.
She's already pissing so many people off.
Woo! Because guess what? I have my theories.
There are so many radio stations that are getting called and complaining because they act like they don't want to play it.
Yeah. The country radio stations don't want to play it. Country radio does not want to play it.
Y'all never been country music. We're like, baby, we're putting up. Mama Tina's putting up old Destiny Child's videos and shit like that, where their costumes was pretty much cowboy hats and matching outfits. Like, they have been Texas.
They from Texas. They Texas, baby. They rodeo and black cowboys are a thing.
Somebody said it too. They say, if you really want to know how country Beyonce is, watch some of her early interviews. I said, that girl was so country back then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the only place that she knew was her little block in Texas, and that was it. Child, she didn't know nothing about the world. That girl was green, like accent strong. Like it was very much one of those where I'm kind of like,
you know what I think? This question should have been asked off camera because we just been on and we supposed to be talking about España, but we talking about Beyonce.
I was gonna say, can y'all tell that we don't want to talk about this episode?
Honestly, yeah. But
I love that this chapter I'm just gonna call random Beyonce break for
Absolutely.
no reason.
Absolutely.
Always have from out there. Always.
Yes, of course.
And like I said, my theory is the next album is gonna be rock because Beyonce is reclaiming all the music that Black people started and that they want to take away from us and say that we didn't, and that's not our genre. So now we're gonna get Beyonce doing rock, and I'm like, I'm here for it. I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait. And 16 Karat just hit my whole spirit and soul. I can't. I love that song so much. It hits my whole soul. But
there's a lot of people that have connected with that one. I'm just very happy that we're getting like another album where it's going to be like a storytelling kind of album. You know what I mean? It's going to be very vocally. It's going to be very much about like personal stuff she's going through in her life and how she feels and da da da.
It's going to be like Lemonade. It's going to be like a Lemonade album where it was just very story. Like this is what's happening in my life, and I need to talk about it or sing about it and write about it. And it's going to give us those same feels that Lemonade gave us. And now that I'm so excited.
I'm thrilled that 3 of my big 4 artists are all releasing albums in the next like 3 months. Because it's Beyonce, it's Taylor Swift, and it's Casey Musgraves for me. Like all 3 of them in the next couple of months. I'm like, I understand and I get it, Eve, and I understand and I get it. Let me be happy. I'm very happy about Beyonce as well.
Look, nobody cared about the other girl. Nobody is caring about the other girl.
I was very thrown off by who the other 2 people were. I thought one of them might be Taylor. Hoped, but it wasn't going to be. But it was anyway. It was whatever. But I didn't think the other one was going to be Casey. That's all I was kind of like.
I love Casey.
I'm around with her. I just know I'm hyped for Ariana Grande's album.
I was going to say Ariana's probably like my number 5. My 4 is Adele.
I think that it doesn't. I think it might not bode well for her that she's dropping it in the same month that Beyonce is dropping this new album, though.
I don't.
That was Ari.
I think it's still gonna do well, but.
It's going to come out first, so it's going to be okay, but it's like it's not going to get as much shine because once Beyonce's comes out, that's really all I'm going to listen to for the next year. So, just like Renaissance. So,
and on that note, let's talk about Drag Race España also.
España.
This episode just pissed off a lot of people. Well, on this panel, it did.
Especially and Sagittaria. It pissed off a lot of us.
And Sagittaria is still going.
Yeah.
Sagittaria is still going. And we'll talk about whether it was rightful or whatnot. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. 5 active drag franchises right now, plus exclusive content coming very, very soon over on our membership. So if you would like to become a member of the channel and join the tea room, hit the join button down below on this video. Or you can go to Patreon, same content, different platform. We got a lot of stuff coming. If you want, I don't know, Beyonce reactions, we could do that.
Too. Absolutely.
If you want other things,
reactions, we could do that too.
I will do a Taylor reaction. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, join the members. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline for y'all. We've got 2 other channels as well with Almost All Things Reality TV and Almost All Things Eurovision Song Contest. So make sure to go check those out as well. But we come back in here. And Onyx Ulysses, a.k.a. Onyx Unleashed, a.k.a. Onyx Unleashed. It's unleashed. She was unleashed from the competition. I'm still depressed.
I still don't like it, but whatever.
I'm going to say this right now, and I mean this with no disrespect towards this individual. I mean it with all of the disrespect in the world towards the judging panel, minus Anna Locking and this fabulous guest judge we got this week. Can we just crown Sethlas and be done with this season? And again, I mean no disrespect to Sethlas because I enjoy Sethlas. I think Sethlas is very talented, and I'm happy that she's getting the flowers that they did not give her on season 2. However,
I feel like, look, Sethlas is a deserving win. And if she wins this season, she deserves to do it. But I don't like the way it's looking like it's going to be. Like, it's a short season anyway. And we have very few queens anyway. And we're only 3 episodes in. And it's obvious what they want to do. And that's fine if you want to do it. But don't make it so obvious that that's what you want to do. Because it's just, It's very obvious. But I think I like Drag Sethlas. I think Sethlas is a great queen, and she deserves her flowers. She deserves her crown.
I look at it this side. I would be very happy if they if they crown Sethlas. I'd be very happy if they crowned one or two other people as well.
Correct.
To me, and y'all know I'm the queen of trying to clock production.
Yes.
To me, yet it does not I mean, I would say the only time when I felt like that it started to look like it was not even really overly produced, but like favoritism towards Sethlas would honestly be from this episode.
I think I would agree with that.
I feel like that they earned the position that they were in from the other two episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Even
I would agree.
They made top 2, but they didn't win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if they had 3 straight wins and then this one, I'd be like,
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's not a chance for nobody else.
I agree with that for sure. And I didn't say that the first 2 weeks because I was like, I love that Sethlas is getting this. Definitely 2 very, very well-deserved wins.
Some different people in the top, though. I will say that.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I'm definitely ready for that. But we come in, Onyx has gone home because Pupi saved her seasoned sister.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out
that
I mean, it's the alliances. That's apparently just how we're operating on this season. I don't know. But we do find out that Sethlas had pulled Sagittaria's lipstick.
Girl, and Sagittarius was... This is what started the whole thing off.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Sagittarius' booty hurt this whole goddamn episode. Because she's like, I know you had to pick someone's name, but you picked my name. Bitch, she wasn't picking Onyx. There is no third choice. Get over it.
My thing, and I think even she was just like, I know what to do. That, you know, if I ever find myself in like, I'm like,
if you want to do that.
Do that.
But I hate when girls hold this animosity like she picked you on purpose because she don't like you or something.
Right.
Like, that's pretty much her damn, like,
that's what they want.
Partner. She fucked around and everything. Like, what? They still have love for each other. Girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know you like that.
I don't know you like that.
I'd be surprised if she didn't pick me.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I'm like, I know you pick me. It's fine.
I know it's my name because I'm like, duh, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like me being a realist out of the situation.
Mm-hmm. She was very, I was like, come on, girl. Like, I don't know who you think she was going to pick because she was not picking her day one ace boom coon. Like, she's not going to do that. That's her sister. Like, they know each other. They have love for each other. They friends outside of this. Like
that's the reason why they even do that to begin with. Then why they start off the beginning of the next episode letting the person, like the other person, like say who they picked or this, that, and the other. It's just to see if that can create some kind of animosity between the girls. Be like, oh, you picked my name. I'm like, well, they had
it was only 2 people.
So,
if it was a bottom 3, it would have been a slightly different scenario where there could have been somebody else to choose from. But in this situation we're currently dealing with, there's only 2 people. So like,
and Pupi saved you, so you do like
exactly.
You're still there at the end of the day.
Would have, if the roles were reversed, Onyx would have understood that it was her name that Pupi pulled because it's like absolutely you would have pulled my name.
They wouldn't have pulled her name. So like like that.
It made no sense at all. It was so I was like, okay, that was kind of crazy.
I will say though, I just I tried to find it. I'm glad I found it. There was a tweet I think today from Pupi saying it doesn't matter exactly what we say, blah 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 blah. But there are moments when I wish I'd saved Onyx because of how he behaves now, and tagged Sagittaria in it. And I'm like,
yeah, like grateful and like.
But also, as we go through this episode, especially at the end of the episode, did Sagittaria lie? No. I'm gonna say I don't think she did.
No.
It was definitely fueled by some bitterness.
Absolutely.
I feel personally that it's just okay. This is just me being honest about the situation. I didn't get to watch Sagittarius season, but also from what I heard from the other girls when she came back, she didn't really have that much of a personality on her season.
Nope.
And right now, she is still giving me dry as hell, but pretty. And so,
yes,
I feel like that she's feeling a little butthurt because
Yes.
she's not in the top anymore, or she's not,
Yes.
you know, getting the top marks, or this, that, and the other, and somebody else is. But it's like, but girl, you're not serving. Did you outserve this person that you think does not need to be in the top? Then I would not talk. That's just you got your own struggles that you got to worry about, girl. Like, you're still born. Period. If Sethlas got completely X out the competition, Sagittaria still wouldn't win.
No.
I'm like, you got to worry about yourself at some point, girl. I'd be like,
Exactly.
This would not be a shoe-in for you if he was not there. So I'm like, I don't know why you're acting like this. There are other people that still outrank you.
I mean, but it's a double-edged kind of thing for me because I agree that Sagittaria is not giving what needs to be gave in this competition. Like, she's not doing it. But she was not wrong when she was like, let's be honest, like, Sethlas, you did good, but you didn't need to be in that top two. And I agree with that. Sethlas does not deserve to be in the top two this week. And I'm just like,
I think that her reasoning behind why came off more personal.
I think I will agree with that.
I mean? As opposed to it being like, it started off with her being like, well, I didn't like the way the judge's critique came down or whatever. But then it really came off to being one of those things like, well, you just didn't do as much. You only put this on, and that's it, and da da da. And I'm just kind of like, but also at the same time, this isn't a design challenge. This is the ball challenge. Like, this isn't like a unconventional materials challenge or anything like that. This isn't like we give you all the same material and you all just make a nice looking outfit. Like, this is something that had a specific criteria set to it.
And there was still a design element to it, but yeah.
But I want to one of those where I get where, because Sagittarius' outfit looked amazing, but I don't feel like that should supersede part of the criteria in the challenge. Right. And that's what they just happened to favor over him. So I was like, I can understand if the outfit looked bad and if it didn't hit the criteria, then yeah, absolutely. And Sethlas in the top, yes, girl, absolutely, read her. But I'm like, she's giving more of what she's supposed to be giving than you're giving than what you're supposed to be giving. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I'm confused.
Yeah,
and just a little weird to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's pin that because we got I think we all have a whole lot more to say about that whole situation
to go through. Jesus,
we sure do. So they were coming back into the workroom the next day. They're doing their thing. Supreme comes in, and they have to eat these rotten apples off of this tree. I don't know why. This whole sequence, I was like, for what?
So they're like, I'm guessing that they're like cakes.
It seems like they're fondant apples.
Yeah,
but then
they're cakes or something wrapped in fondant. Something wrapped in fondant.
Yeah. And then 6 of them were gross, and Juriji got the good one. This whole sequence, I was like, this could have been an email.
And Juriji was crowned as Eve, which I was like, mother. And then she got the apple. I said, mother.
Of course. And so she gets to assign everyone's sin because we're doing another 7 Deadly Sin based challenge. And the first time they did it was also on España, right?
No, it said Canada's Drag Race Season 2 was what I was seeing.
Oh, yes. That's correct.
They were doing like comparison shots of the runway. Yeah. Quickie question. Did anyone have a favorite pit crew member that gave a specific sin? Because baby, for me, when Lust walked out, it was over. I was like, oh my God. That long hair. I was like,
I recognized one of them for a certain reason, and we might be seeing more of him on our TV screens come very soon. I'll just say that. I don't remember which sin he was.
Is he on a reality show?
He might be.
Is it that DILF show?
No.
Is it Survivor?
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
I'll tell you after. But
is it Eurovision?
No.
Is it España Vision?
No.
Sure.
Also no. I'll tell you after. But for me, it was gluttony with the chocolate sauce all over. Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Gluttony was the one that I was kind of like. I was like, is that Mirage? I was like,
ooh, The boys all know.
I was like, is that Mirage? I was like, what's happening?
And then also the bear. I don't know which one he was, but I said
I think the first one.
I think so. Anyway, they all come out. Juriji assigns everybody a thing, but then because Sethlas got envy, she got to swap if she want. This whole bullshit was convoluted. I'm gonna be honest. I hated this whole segment.
I kind of liked it, but I wish that there was something that they would have been able to do for all the sins. Like
that's the problem I had with it, because it was so imbalanced. So then Sethlas swapped with Hornella, and then later on when they're doing workroom stuff, Supreme brings in Unlocking, and I was like, oh, lovely, Unlocking. And because Samantha is greed, she was greedy, so she only really helped Samantha, kind of, but then also went around and kind of helped everybody. I hated this. I'm like, the producers are truly holding Unlocking against her will in this scenario. It seems like she's the only person on this judging panel that has a like cognizant opinion.
Can we have her host?
Please. Because it feels like Supreme and the Hobbies have just like strongholded the whole thing, and Unlocking is just here to get a check. And you know what? Honestly, get that check, girl. Continue to get that check. I support you in that. I'm sorry you have to deal with 3 delusional ass people who don't understand theater or performance. Because what do the Hobbies do? What do they do successfully? Quickly.
Unlocking, if you see this, I would implore you to please, if you are, brush up on your English a little bit.
Yeah.
I hear that there is an opening for a host position for Drag Race Down Under.
Yes.
They say it's supposed to be filled with Michelle, but no. I would prefer you to do it. Like you are honestly like, if there were ever be a constant serve out of any single person, every single episode, it's always you.
Mm-hmm.
It's always you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like opinion-wise, look-wise, energy-wise, heart-wise. Like you, she's like our España Stacey McKenzie. It's like that's how Stacey McKenzie was season 1 of Canada's Drag Race, and we loved her, and then they got rid of her, and we're like, no, and like.
Can the judging panel for Down Under be Unlocking and Stacey McKenzie?
Ooh.
Just them two. Shit.
And then just bring in a guest every now and again.
Oh, actually, it could be them two. Put Courtney Act up there. I know she don't like her.
They're never gonna give it to Courtney.
It'd be amazing if they gave it to Courtney. Because
RuPaul still has Courtney blocked. RuPaul still has Courtney blocked. It ain't gonna happen.
Courtney would actually try to be informative and like mentor like.
Courtney would be a phenomenal fucking host. It's never gonna happen, unfortunately. Until RuPaul is not a part of any of the decision making.
Dead.
Then probably.
Well, probably
not. Maybe.
Now she's a Scorpio. She gonna write shit in her will. She gonna be like, and while I'm gone, don't you let that bitch.
Don't you let Courtney. I don't have anything else from the workroom stuff. Because then the next day, it's literally just Sagittaria being shady with Pupi, being like, well, I just think that this person looks horrible and this person looks horrible, and Sethlas glued 4 jewels onto her outfit.
And I'm just kind of like, I'm confused. I may have just played Miss One in a production of The Wiz, but I do know how to count, and I counted more than 4 jewels on
me too.
Sethlas' outfit. So
I feel like she took a mirror, broke the mirror, and just put all the pieces on the outfit.
Do what?
I said I feel like she just found a mirror, broke the mirror, and put all the pieces on the bodysuit.
What she did?
But there was a lot of them. It was more than 4.
I was like, I will give her benefit of the doubt because I'm like, it was a lot. You do have to get all of those rugs like in place, and it's glass, so I know that she was sharp.
She cut her fingers up a few times, I'm sure.
I'm like, was it a complete like clearing everybody else? Was it the best representation of out of the 7 deadly sins? No. But it got the job done for what the criteria was.
I was about to say, it made sense to what she was
doing something with mirrors. If you didn't do it that way, you know what I mean? Like, I would be surprised if someone didn't do vanity and use mirrors. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So how are we starting on these looks?
Well, I was getting up the music.
Oh, that's a yes. It's my little Kim.
I will say, I think Supreme looks good in this chainmail situation.
I don't like the length.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that.
Or
I
rather
don't like
hit the
that length
floor.
either. Yeah.
I had an issue with the length when she walked out. I was like, why does it seem like it's a little bit above her ankles?
Yeah.
Because it is.
It needs to hit the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, even if it doesn't hit the floor, I feel like it just need to be a little bit longer. Maybe like a little bit over the shoes or something. But like, yeah, no. Anna looks adorable.
Yeah.
I love Anna Locking.
Doll.
And
if Anna Locking did the doll challenge, that would be her doll.
Yes. The cheetah fashion edition. I don't know.
The fashion guest judge edition or something like that.
Absolutely. That part. And our beautiful, lovely guest judge, Laura Sanchez, who I had no clue who she was. I thought she was lovely, and I kept getting mad that they cut her off every 5 seconds. Because she was just trying to be like, I love you all. I think you're all incredible. Like, literally trying to give even freaking Samantha and Hornella in the back. She was like, I think you're great. I want to be your bitch. That was my favorite part of this episode.
She did for me give Drag Race Superfan as a judge.
Yes. And I thought she was lovely and wonderful and great, and I was mad that we didn't get to see more of her. Honestly.
Yeah, she was very Paula Abdul of the situation.
Very, 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 very that. Very that. And the boys look fine.
Dudes. And there's the hobbies.
Yes. Bye. Next. Let's talk about the ball. Our categories.
I like the categories. Heaven, Hell, and the 7 Deadly Sins. Good categories.
And there wasn't a name for the damn ball either. I came up with that. It's just the ball. I'm like, okay, come up with a cute name. I don't know. Y'all know how to do Drag Race?
Oh, she said Ball Stars.
Yeah, Ball Stars.
But
I hate that doesn't really fit. Like, it doesn't go with
the
three.
You're right. It's just go with the themes. Like, we just had a ball it went to with the themes and what they called it, so it made sense. But whatever.
We are going to talk about all 3 looks at once for everyone because that's how we're doing the balls now, and it's much more efficient.
Absolutely.
So, first up, Juriji Der Klee.
Mother Juriji.
And her sin was sloth. Obviously.
So, I need to know, Miss Juriji, if you're watching this, what size diaper do you wear? Because I'm surprised by how much you peed that nothing leaked on the floor. So it must be very super absorbent. It may be an always. It may be a depends. It may be a oops, I crapped my pants. Whatever it is, let me know because there really only need to be one winner this week. It was hard to kind of pull that second one out. We really only needed one winner this week, and that was you, period. Honestly, you won for me from the damn Heaven runway. I was like, oh shit. When I saw that, I was like, this is not like Juriji's style at all. And I am living for this high concept. I was like, that's giving US drag. That's giving US Drag Race drag. Like US All-Star drag. Like, I was very, very, very happy and very impressed. Love the Heaven look. That's my favorite out of the 3. I say my second one is the 7 Deadly Sins look, and then the Hell look is my third favorite. But I did like the light in the mouth. I thought that was badass too. So like, overall, she curried. No.
I think mine is opposite. I think my favorite look is the 7 Deadly Sins look, and then the Hell look, and then the Heaven look. I liked all 3 of them, but in different ways. It's just, I don't know. But I love the Sins, the 7. Like, she ate that one up. I was like, okay. Even though it's like a blanket kimono with the pillow and so good. I love that. I love the light in the mouth for the Hell, and it was like very out of this world kind of I like this. I liked all three of them. I was a fan of Juriji. I was like, yeah, she deserved for sure.
Deserve.
Absolutely.
I like that deserved. I really do need the deserve from Drag Den. That's what I need. David, yep. I know you're listening. Please, thank you. I said last week, I was like, I'm very excited to see Juriji in a ball because I figured that if there was going to be one of these classic Drag Race challenges for All Stars that she would win, it would be the ball. And I was not disappointed whatsoever. I actually think my order is also different from y'all's, which I think is really interesting. My favorite is the Heaven look. This Lee Bowery inspired this just hot air balloon situation, I think, is so gorgeous on her. I love the way that the basket corset dress is basket corset dressing. Like, it's just so good to me. It's so not Juriji. That's what I thought the same thing, Eve. I was like, it's so not Juriji, but in such a Juriji way that it still makes sense in my brain. I thought that was gorgina. My second favorite was actually the Hell look. These are all very close for me, by the way, and it'll be reflected in my scores. I love the Hell look. I think the horns coming off were gorgeous. I think it's just a very well executed, well draped look, and I love all of the different tones of the red, probably velour, I think is the material. All of those different tones that are coming through in this.
Looks like a velvet.
I think it's a velvet. All of that, then with the black, then with the light in the mouth. I thought all that was good. I do love her sloth look as well. We've seen this concept done before. It had been a minute, so I was happy to see this concept again.
I think it was a Moschino runway is when they did it.
I think so.
It was some runway.
It's happened a couple times. The first one, speaking of Courtney Act, the first time I remember seeing it was Courtney doing something similar to this. Because she did, yeah. So I think she was the first on Drag Race, but I still love it. I think it's good. I think with all the trouble she was having with the look in the workroom, I still think she turned out a gorgeous look. I was so happy for her. And I am thrilled. So, scores. And please give them a little slower than you normally would, because I have to keep track of them. Because Dave's not here. So.
I'm keeping track of my own, so you only have to worry about Eve.
Well, I have to put them in the thing so we can get.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You got to do that.
So I do actually, Lana. But thank you. I appreciate you for that. But I also have to do it. Okay, Eve, go.
Okay. So my Heaven look is getting a full cup.
Per.
Well, my Heaven look. Her Heaven look is getting a full cup.
Per.
Her Hell look is getting a 99.
Per.
Her Capital Sins is also getting a full cup.
So for me, I gave her Heaven look an 85. I gave her Hell look a 90. And I gave her Capital Sins look a 95.
Sure. Her Heaven look for me is also going to be full. Her Hell look for me is going to be a 93. And her Capital Sins look is going to be an 89. But I still really like it. So, next, Samantha Ballentines, and her sin was lust. No, that's
no.
It was greed.
It was greed.
I read it wrong. I was about to yell at the fandom wiki. No, I read it wrong. That was my fault. So yes, greed. Very obviously greed.
Can I tell you, this Samantha Ballentines 2.0 is kind of doing something for me. I'm living for the cleanliness of these looks and the caliber of like the quality of the looks and like in the concepts that she's given. With the Heaven look, I have to say my favorite part of the entire thing is we've seen people do wings on the runway before, and the downside a lot of times with those wings is they're very stiff because they're just like made out of cardboard, or they're attached to someone's arms, you know what I mean, or something like that, so they don't really move. So I love the fact that the the hoof, the Pegasus arms in the front were stuffed, and her arms were in the actual wings. So that way, like she could actually move her arms in that more fluid way, and it really looked like it was some of the best like moving wings I've ever seen on Drag Race. Even to the point, like when she walked off stage, she like put them down, her arms down behind her, so it just like the wings like just went right behind. Like it looked real well. I was like, that looks like an actual creature that can fly. Like seriously. Like very much one of those. And I think what I liked about it the most too is with the aspect, it made me think of Hercules, the animated version. Because with Hercules, the animated version, the Pegasus in the animated Hercules, their wings were almost like very anthropomorphic. Like they were almost like an extra set of hands. You know what I mean? How he would like move around, he would hit people and all this other stuff. So that's what that made me think of too. I was like, I feel like those wings could do anything. Like if someone said something like, hey, what direction does someone go? You could put one wing down and just point with the other one. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's what that gave me. And I was like, that's a huge step up runway wise from anything Samantha ever did on her season. Ever. Her hell look I thought was badass and clean. It was like Miranda Priestley meets like the Queen of Hell. Like if the Queen of Hell owned a magazine company and she was the CEO, like very like the Devil Wears Prada for real. Like it's very that. And then her Capital Sins look, I honestly did not have a huge problem with her Capital Sins look. It started out looking crunchier in the beginning than when she revealed it. When she revealed it, it looked really nice. I was like, this actually looks really good. Like, you've got a whole bunch of money all in the right spots. The way that the dress was formed at the top, I thought fit her really well. And then I liked the flowing at the bottom, even with all the pearls and stuff kind of coming out of the coochie. For me, because okay, so this is something that we've all stated off camera, so I'm going to state this on camera. I personally did not have an issue with one person that was named to be in the top of this episode and one person that was named to be in the bottom of this episode. I said I thought the order of everyone else needed to be rearranged.
Yes.
So for me, I would have kept Samantha safe, or I would have had her as top 3.
We'll see if your scores match that, Eve, because I am keeping track of that. So I'm actually really interested because I love doing the arbitrary. Oh my god, she totally should have been in the top. Ends up 5th in my rankings. Like I love that sort of thing. So I love that we keep track of all the specifically the ball scores now because it is like. It can be all subjective, but then I love looking at all the numbers afterwards.
Yeah, I'm interested in where she would land in mine, but because I see what I'm scoring, but I'm like, I don't know where she would land in the end.
I feel like for me, she would land possibly either 3rd or 4th because like she was someone else who just had really who hit that nail on the head when it came to criteria as well as execution.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think these looks are very good and clean and like I didn't see her original season, so I don't know what the step up, the glow up is, but
major.
I don't really care.
We're on episode 3 and she hasn't taken a wig off yet.
I was like, I don't care. I just think she's just doing such a good job in this season that I'm like, whatever you did in the past is the past. Right now, you killing it. This Pegasus outfit was my favorite look from her. I was like, oh, it was so good. And I was like, I love, like you said, the hooves that she had it where it looked like hooves, and her shoes and the feet actually looked like the hooves that she had on her hands.
It like took me a minute to realize that those hooves weren't real. It like really did.
It was so good. I was like, oh no, they're not. They're not her hands. It was so good. And the wing, like you said, I appreciate how the wings look so natural and real. And like you said, it looked like it could do something. Like she could put it in, like point that way and point that way. It looked very animated, and I love that. I liked her makeup in this. I was like, if she wasn't going for I'm trying to be pretty, she was like, I am a Pegasus, and I'm giving you that. And
the prosthetics and stuff look right. It looks very good.
It's beautiful. Even in this ugliness, it's beautiful. And so I appreciated that. That was one of my favorite heaven looks. This hair look, definitely the Devil Wears Prada meets the real devil. It's so good. It's so clean. The way these horns are coming out the side and around. Oh, and then the wig in the middle, so good, so clean. Her capital sins look is good. I like you said, I have no problem with her capital sins look. Is it the best put together? No, but it's still the way she put it together, good.
Did she ever make it to a design challenge on her season?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But this is good.
It looks
like
really
the money is put in the right places. It's got color to it, so it's not that boring drab yellow at the top like it is at the top. It's vibrant. It's giving me greed. I understand the concept, the theme. I have no complaints about Miss Samantha this time on this.
I remember not liking her package in this episode more upon first watch, and then I rewatched it before we did this episode, and I was like, but actually though, Samantha did really well in this episode. Like, Samantha did really well. I love the Pegasus. The wings on this are some of the best wings I've seen on Drag Race in a minute. Like, it's so good.
I said they remind me of the Pegasus's wings from Hercules the animated series, because it was almost, they were like almost anthropomorphic, as like almost they were like an extra pair of arms.
Absolutely.
It was like the way you moved with them. I was like,
and all the armor pieces on that too are gorgeous. This hell look, what I love the most actually about this whole look is the fact that we see it's just a loaf on her head. And we get the sides of the bald. As someone in the bald community, I appreciate it. But half the girls on this season are bald, so it's fine. Sure. I feel very represented.
Juriji got bald during the season. Hell,
I know. I was gonna say I shaved my head today for this occasion, and also I needed to. I will say the greed look is not great. And so if she falls a little bit further down in my rankings, it's not bad by any means of the imagination. If she falls a little bit further down in my rankings, I know it's because of that, because we're weighting it as half of our overall weighted score. For me, I don't think it's bad. I think it could have been executed a little bit better. I don't love all of the panels that we have at the bottom, that orange and then the purple and then the red. I don't love all of those panels together. I kind of wish it had just been one color coming from the corset, because I actually think the whole corset situation with the money and the jewels and all of that and the presentation of it, I thought was really, really good. I get that the whole skirt is for the reveal with the money, and I get all of that. That part of it just looked a little crapped up for me, just a scotch. But Samantha Ballentines is here serving fashion, which I never thought I would say. And I'm also genuinely very surprised that we are 3 episodes in now in a 5-episode competitive season, and Samantha Ballentines does not have a win. I'm really surprised by that, because I think she could have won, honestly, maybe every episode so far. And she was in the top both of the first 2 weeks. Or no, she wasn't. She was safe for Snatch Game, wasn't she? She should have been in the top for me. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember what I said last week. Anyway, I think Samantha's great. I think Samantha's lovely. And I'm glad that y'all underestimated her, because she's doing great things for my draft. So thank you. Scores.
So for Samantha's Heaven look, I'm going to give it a full cup. For her Hell look, I'm going to give it a 99. And then for her Capital Sins look, I'm going to give it a 90.
Perfect.
So for I'm changing things as I'm going, but for her Heaven look, that's a full cup. That was a no-brainer, full cup. For her Hell look, I gave her a 95.
Okay.
And for her Capital Sins look, I gave her an 88.
Okay. I'm gonna match y'all on your full cups for the Heaven look, because I definitely agree with that. Her Hell look, I'm gonna give it a 91. And her Capital Sins, I'm giving it an 80, because I do still like it. And I like 80% of what was presented, so that's honestly why I'm giving it an 80. Next up, Pakita. And her sin was wrath. She angry. And I'm angry too. We'll talk about it.
So, I will say this. When it came to judging, points were made when it came to certain things. I will agree when it comes to her capital sin look that I do wish that the look itself gave more wrath from just a visual standpoint as opposed to needing any type of screaming or performance or anything like that. I wish it was something that you could just read right when she came around the corner kind of a thing. And I feel like that's something that Anna commented on I think someone's, I think maybe it was Samantha's look in the workroom, is that she said she wanted it to, she said that she wanted to be make a visual moment, something that you can see from afar kind of a thing. And standing at the back of the stage, it looked like she looked pissed. So I'm like, I get that out of it. You know what I mean? But I do feel like, for me, honestly, like that dress could have honestly easily have read lust. You know? So that it kind of took me out a little bit of. The heaven look, I liked how the heaven look started. I just wasn't crazy about how it ended. Because I thought it was real sickening and angelic and everything. And then afterwards, I don't know, maybe if the corset was white as opposed to this like off gold color or something, it would have kept the whole thing going together. But it went like she started with heaven and now she's in a corset. You know, I don't know. It just, I feel like it needed something more. I feel like her taking that white piece off to start to take away from the look itself. Just like hitting the mark. And then the hell look, I liked. The only issue that I had with the hell look, which I also had this issue with someone else's look, is everybody wanted to try to do spears or something sticking out of their body on this runway. But the downside is the fact that she had her arrows in the back attached to the fabric of her dress. So it pulled the arrows down. So she had some of the arrows going up, like the arrow was supposed to go up this way towards her body, but on the other side, the arrow was leaning like this because it was hooked on the back of her skirt. And so that really took me out of it. I was like, and I felt like that it gave the base level version of hell for me. Like the base level version of hell for me. And that was really just because of like the skulls that were in it. I feel like if you would have taken the skulls out of it, I wouldn't have fully got hell out of it. You know what I mean? I might have gotten Valentine or something, or I don't know. It's just, they didn't all hit the nail on the head for me. They all came out as very iconic Pakita looks, but I felt like that she could have possibly taken those looks and applied them to any other runway, you know, and it would have been, I don't know. It just didn't. They didn't hit the mark fully for me. So I don't think they were the worst, but they didn't fully hit the mark when it came to the criteria of heaven, hell, and the sin.
I agree and disagree at the same time for some of this. Like, I do agree with you with the heaven. I think that once you took off the white, I mean, I get the story, and Pakita is very much like conceptual kind of queen. Like, she likes to tell the story with the look and throughout the look. And it was like, I'm the Virgin Mary, but I ain't a virgin no more. So that's where it came off. And it was this no longer white, because now it's not the virginal white that we think of when it's innocence and white and virginal and things like that. And then when she came off, it's like, oh, I'm not the virgin anymore. So now it's off white or goldish or whatever. But I do agree, it didn't hit the mark as far, like the storytelling could have been told a little better, so we know exactly what's going on. It was kind of like, I get the idea, but it's like I have to reach and find the story instead of it just being so blatant with it.
I think for me, it's like her looks all read to Pakita. For me, you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that her her look and kind of her aesthetic is this kind of dark, vampy lady kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like this sexy, vampy lady kind of situation. And like those looks all give that, but Pakita just already gives that. So it's like it didn't look that far off from something that she would normally just be doing anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like she would. I feel like that we possibly seen her wear iterations of these as runway looks on her season.
I can see that.
I think that's what it was for me.
Yeah, I can see that. Her hair look, actually, I really like the hair look. I like the horns with the coming up with the headpiece and the wraparound. That was my favorite part of this look. I like this dress. I thought it was like, okay, I see what you're doing with your, the with the stabbing and the things. Yes, I agree that the arrows going in and going out the opposite way now is kind of distract, but it didn't distract me to the point where I was like, oh no. That was actually my favorite look of this package, was her hair look. I was like, this is really good. It gave me because I still, even though it's a theme, I still want to see who you are as a drag artist, and this is still Pakita. And so I love that we still get her, who she is as a queen, but with the element of the theme in mind. And so I didn't mind this. I thought this was one of my favorite ones from Pale for her. And I can understand the sin about the wrath. And it's like, we want Pakita's so pretty. Pakita's so pretty. And her having wrath, I would have wanted to see a little bit more wrath. Like maybe the gown was torn and it was tattered.
Or her hair was
the hair was
to the side or something.
Right, like she went through. Like it was too pretty. And I get that. I'm like, if she would have just
be Angela Bassett walking away from the flaming
fire, kind of like I want you to be mad. I want you to be pissed. And yes, when the roses and the screaming and the performance was wrath, she still was so pretty. Like I wanted Pakita to come out with her hair a mess, the clothes are tattered, and the roses are hanging off her, and she just
or what would have been even better is if she came out and started looking like that.
Yes.
Slowly started walking down the runway and start ripping roses off and start tearing apart her
hair out.
Start pulling out parts of the dress. And then next thing you know, by the whole end of it, she's just all torn and that would have been everything.
That would have been everything. And it would have been like, okay, girl, I get it. And even if she had like a corset underneath like she has in heaven, but have a little tattered corset and it's just all bloody or whatever it just needed to be more wrath. And I get that. I'm still mad because I still don't believe she deserved to be in the bottom 3 for this. But I understand what they were saying when it came to certain aspects of the look.
Yeah. What about you, Logie?
I was going to say, I want to hear what both of you have to say about it because I have specific thoughts about the Sid look specifically. And I agree. And I will get to my thoughts on that after I talk about the Heaven and Hell looks. I will say the Heaven look for me is the least successful here. Just because, it's a cute dress. I think the robe shawl situation, I think is gorgeous. She looks lovely. The corset, unfortunately, is just not doing it for me in the way that I want it to. Again, I agree with you, Eve. For me, it comes down to color. And I wanted something a little bit different for her. Her hell look is, I agree with you, Lana, also my favorite of the 3. I will say the arrow situation on the front and the back distracted me just a little bit. I found myself kind of concentrating on that for a little bit of the runway, but I love the whole head wrap. I love everything that's happening with the headpiece. I think she said it was a goat's head. I think it was.
Or something.
Yeah,
I think
the goats.
Love them in there.
I think so. Yeah, I really love that because I think, like you said, Eve, or one of you said it. I don't know. I like seeing that this is the hell category through Pakita's lens, and that it gives me that for her. Now, this Capital Sins look. Are either of you familiar with the movie 13 Roses?
No.
I don't think I've seen it.
So, what she was doing on the runway was a reference to the movie and event 13 Roses, which is a depiction during the Spanish Civil War. The movie portrays these 13 women who were falsely accused of assisting the rebellion against Franco during the Franco regime in Spain. These girls were literally just imprisoned on no charges and executed for no reason. And in this whole situation, Pakita is representing him because there are 13 roses on the garment. And me knowing the reference, I got what she was doing immediately, and I loved it. I thought the whole I do agree with y'all. I wish there had been, it's a little too clean for what she was trying to do. There could have been a little bit more exaggeration. There could have been a little bit of like destroying the garment. And I agree with the judges in that regard. However, the fact that seemingly these judges didn't understand what she was going for is bullshit to me. Because I have complete faith that all 5 people on that judging panel knew exactly what she was doing and knew the exact reference she was going for. And if they don't, I'm confused. It's a very depressing movie, by the way. It's a good movie. Just if you need to go be depressed for a little bit, go watch 13 Roses. It's a very lovely movie, but it'll make you very depressed. So I got it. And in that regard, I absolutely loved what she did. And I loved the performance of it. I just needed a bit more, like y'all said and like the judges said, I just needed a bit more of like the anger. I needed a bit more of the anger of it as opposed to just the raw emotion.
It's like for me, I felt like that it almost was like she was hoping that the wrath would already be like attached to the concept because she was doing the concept. It's like, because I'm doing 13 Roses and because you guys have all seen 13 Roses, you should already know I'm giving wrath. Yeah. And I feel like that some of the screaming and turning stuff off and stuff was probably planned in doing it, but I feel like that she probably didn't take it as farther as she needed to because she felt that the concept was already doing half of it.
And I agree with that. I definitely agree
with
that.
That would probably be what the downside would be for me and Lana, because people who did not get the concept at all felt like that she started off behind, as opposed to her thinking she started out halfway ahead. You know what I mean?
She went very high concept and like very mid.
I feel like
high concept, very mid, but very good and polished execution. And the performance just needed to be a little bit stronger to match everything.
Because I bet a lot of the España viewers have probably seen that movie or know of that movie, so they probably got the reference as well. So
that's what I was hoping. It seemed like the judges didn't get it, and I'm like, y'all probably have seen the movie or at least know of the reference. If you learned history in school, they probably learned it. Like I would hope so, but I don't know. Why is she red?
Do you watch the show, Tamar?
Right.
Yeah.
Why is she green?
That's why I said, why is she red?
I get it. Ah.
I was with you there. You just had to realize that I was with you there. Scores for Pakita.
Are we scoring?
We are, yes.
Okay. So, Miss Pakita. I will say this. We'll see how my scores reflect later. I do not feel that you should have been in the bottom 2, but I cannot say that I would not have been surprised if you were in the bottom 3. I do think there is somebody else that could have been underneath you, but I would say that you were on the lower half for me. So for the Heaven look, I would give it a 70. The Hell look, I would give a 75. And the Capital Sins look, I would give a 70.
I was a little nicer than Eve with my scores. For the Heaven look, I gave it an 85. For the Hell look, I gave it a 97 because I really did like that a lot. And for the Capital Sins, I gave it an 87.
And I think I'm going to fall right in the middle of y'all when it comes to my scores. So that's typical. I'm going to give her Heaven look a 72. I'm going to give her Hell look an 88. And I'm going to give her Capital Sins look an 83. So right in the middle of you both on all three categories. Next up, Sagittaria. Thanks for making me have to use a blur, bitch. Showing her titties. How dare you?
Sagittaria. Okay. Miss Sagittaria. So, I will have to say out of all three looks, my favorite is the Heaven look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the Heaven look was absolutely on the nose, 350%. I also 350% agree with what they said when it came to the Hell look, where it said we were trying to do spiders, but I don't fully know if the feathers all gave off spider, especially since you only had 6 of them behind you and then 2 of them in front of you. So it looked like weird leg placement. I would have rather have all 8 of them behind you, like actual legs, or if you would have had all 8 of them in front of you. I just don't understand why you had them in different places. I think that if you would have possibly detached the spider story from it and just came out as just some demon creature lady or something like that, it would have been like full out the park slam dunk for me. You know what I mean? Because the look and everything is nasty. Like, it looks really, really good. It's just, I hate that sometimes the girls will do that. Sometimes the girls will accidentally box themselves into a concept they don't fully fit into, and then it almost knocks your score down. Mm-hmm. And I feel like she would have went better if she would have went more with a broader version of what her concept was for Hell, as opposed to being like, I want this to be about spiders. I have a personal fear of spiders. So da da da. I'm like, other than those feathers, I wouldn't get spider from this at all. Like, even if you're supposed to be Black Widow, to be that tacky and that on the nose, girl, I would have loved to see a Black Widow symbol somewhere on you. It would have been awesome if, like, the middle of that outfit or whatever had like a red triangle pattern or whatever. Then we would have known it was spider. Period. You know what I mean? But it's like, this could read that, or it could read something else. But like I said, I felt like she kind of shot herself in the foot by trying to nail herself down on a concept with this. This capital sins look, baby, is not no sin. Period. It's not. It is a Grace Jones cowl neck type top situation. Charlize Theron. She looks like she's about to sell me some Dior perfume or something on a commercial or an ad. She said she was supposed to be shaped like a penis. That is the skinniest penis I've ever seen, with no balls. That head is tapered. I'm guessing she's uncut with the cowl. I don't know what it's supposed. It did not read penis to me at all. It read red dress. It read beautiful gowns. You wrap some shit around your body, around the gown, and be like, ooh, bondage. But it's like one piece of rope, and then you pull that one little bitty whip that they gave you. They gave you that. They gave you that whip. Juriji gave you that whip when she gave you your category. You pulled that little whip out and said, hey, I'm lust. And I'm like, no, you're not. Yeah, I wasn't happy about it. She's giving me more Kylie Minogue than she's giving lust.
Mm-hmm. I agree with everything you just said. That Heaven look is my favorite look from her. It's beautiful, right on the nose, beautiful. Hell could have been more if the spider bit just kind of, because it's not making sense with the placements of the feathers, and then it's like, are they supposed to be the legs? Are they supposed to be, like, you don't know what they're supposed to be. But is it a pretty look? Absolutely, it's pretty. It's gorgeous, but I don't know what it's supposed to be. And you said it's a spider, but now I don't see spider. So, and the red dress, beautiful gown, beautiful red dress, beautiful cowl neck. You look stunning in it, but is it lust? No, it to me is giving more seduction than lust. Like, you're a seductress, you're like Jessica Rabbit, but do I feel lust? I want to feel the lust that comes behind the sin, because anybody, just because you could be, attracted to somebody or, seducing someone without it being about lust. It's just, I just really wanted to, to get you to know me, to notice me. But when I'm in lust, I need to feel like, ooh, I need to feel uncomfortable watching you.
Right.
When you're lusting after somebody. And I don't feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm just watching somebody on the red carpet. doing a thing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, she's just a pretty woman at the Oscars or at the Grammys or whatever, and she's just doing a beautiful look to go do her job, as an actress or whatever. But when you're in lust for somebody, it needs to be something where we was just like, oh, girl, oh.
For me, it made me feel like that she was going towards Jessica Rabbit, but she stopped a while before she got there.
She said Jessica Rabbit in her description too, and I was like, I don't get.
Yeah.
No.
I was like,
she was on her way to Jessica, like you said, on her way to Jessica Rabbit, but then stopped very short of Jessica Rabbit. Because like Jessica Rabbit gives you that lusty, like, oh girl, okay, I see where you're going.
And also too, it's because of the fact of what adds that to Jessica Rabbit is like the buxomness of her. She's very big boob. She's very big hips. She's very big butt. She's very hourglass. She's very like boom, boom, boom. And Sagittaria is as big as these damn scissors I have sitting on my counter.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl,
she
you're less than nobody. You look like I could put you on a hook and drop you out into the lake and fish like a worm.
Yeah.
That was my critique as well with the lust look. Is just like I like the concept. I think the concept of going more Jessica Rabbit, kind of giving that sensuality, I think is really, really smart. However, Sagittarius doesn't wear body. And if you're gonna try to do Jessica Rabbit, I need the hip, I need the boob, and I respect girls that don't have the body like that. Because if you have a natural body like it, girl, go for whatever you need to do for your fantasy. Don't go Jessica Rabbit if you're not going to give the shape. And that was my biggest critique with it. Because I actually think otherwise the garment's pretty cute.
It's a cute, beautiful gown.
And that's kind of what she gave here is 3 beautiful gowns. Like that's about I don't know if you were done with your critique, Lana.
No, I was done.
Okay, cool. I was like, I don't want to dive fully in. This heaven look for me is Georgina Ramsey. This is my favorite of her 3. I think I like her hell look a little bit more than you both do. I get the critique of it not really fitting. What I liked, though, is that she talked about it being her personal hell, and that's how she interpreted the category. And in that regard, I do like that. And I think the look is very polished. I think it's very well put together. The airbrush bodysuit underneath, which we cannot see because she had her titois exposed, and I'm not trying to get demonetized on this video. But that whole situation I thought was gorgeous. The gown itself is very well made. And it looked really good on her. Unfortunately, it's a very similar silhouette to what we got in her Capital Sins look. So it's just a lot of like same, unfortunately. Like I said, I think the concept here, it just needed to be brought up. But the gown itself, I love the cowl neck with the hood. The gown itself looks gorgeous on her. I do like having the whip kind of around her. I needed more of those details, though. And she might have been limited to what she had in her box, and I get that for sure. It just, if you're going to go for that, I need it to look a little bit more intricate. Like, I would have loved it. I don't know if she had, like, a full thing of rope in her box or anything like that, but I would have loved if she'd done some, like, full-on, like, shibari style thing up the gown. That would have been fierce.
Something really easy, I would have just loved to see more skin.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. What the skirt off?
If she would have had some cutouts or something, that like some little peak cutouts to show out like a little hip or a little waist or a little bit, that would have been perfect. And also too, her hell. Now I know who her hell makes me think of. Now that I'm seeing, especially the bottom picture, it makes me think of Lady Devimon from Digimon.
Yeah.
I was like, bitch, it could be Lady Devimon, and I was like, but I mean. That would fit. It would fit hell, but I'm just like, it ain't a spider. So I'm just like, hey, she said spider. I feel like that really shot her in the foot.
Yeah, it shot her.
Yeah. So
okay.
Scores for Sagittaria.
So Miss Sagittaria, I had her close to the bottom too.
We'll see.
I had Miss Sagittaria actually down in the bottom too with the other person. I don't know if my scores will fully end up going there that way. We'll see. Heaven, I'm giving it a 95 because I thought it was sickening. Hell, I'm gonna give it an 80 because it's not bad, but it's not fully what is being asked for. I don't feel like. And then Capital Sins, that's getting a 50
All right.
because it is a well constructed garment. So that half of the challenge is filled, but not
Sure.
the other half where it needs to fit the criteria. So that's why.
Sure.
So for my heaven, I gave her a 94 because beautiful. For Hell, I gave it a 78. And for Capital Sin, I gave it an 80, 83.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her heaven look, I'm gonna go. If Lana went 1 point below Eve, I'm gonna go 1 point below Lana and give her 93. Her hell look, I knew I liked it a little bit more than y'all did. I'm gonna give her an 84 for that. And the Capital Sins look, I'm gonna give that a 79. Because I do still think it's very well constructed. I think she looks good in it. And I think the presentation gave lust. I just needed the garment to be a little bit more lusty. I want some cutouts. I want some other situation. I want some shibari knots on her gown. I don't know. Just something a little bit more.
Assless. It could have been a lot of
It could have been assless. You know what? Because it could have been assless. 2 butt cheeks. I'm dropping her score to a 77.
Per
That's
cheek.
all. Per cheek. 1 point per cheek. Correct. Oh, Lord. Well, next up is the part of our program where, unfortunately, we must discuss Pupi Poisson in this ball.
It's okay.
What?
She fell right where the hell she needed to fall this episode.
Correct.
Because this was 3 chops across the board. The first one with the heaven look, I was wanting way bigger of a payoff than what we got. I was hoping that when she opened it, it was going to be like her opening the entire thing, or her opening it and it's like so big that it covers the top of it. But it was just like, oh, a little rainbow, oh, peekaboo, oh, open up my little skirt, oh, and that's it. And that's it. It looks like it probably took her all of 5 minutes to make. She said that her hair was the sun, which makes no sense because it's pink. And looks like devil hair. I'm like, it's that damn sculpted wigs that I don't like. That are cosplaying like 90s black lady wigs. I hate that. I hate that drag trend. That can be over with now. I was gonna clock rhinestone wigs, but Samantha wore hers right, so we're gonna let her go. But was not crazy about it at all. I feel Thanks a lot. I don't even own a card. But also as well, I do not like the color of the blue for the outfit. It needed to be a lighter sky blue. She could have put clouds all on the damn thing. I really feel like that it could have went further, and this was base level, even under base level. The hell look looks like what is her name?
Medusa?
No. Chanel from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 1. It looks like that Chanel has had this in her closet since she wore it on Season 1. And Pupi asked her a week before the show to borrow it. It looks like it probably still has mothballs in it. It smells. It does not fit correctly. She don't know how to wear it. No. Absolutely. Girl, no. I mean, it's the strongest out of the 3, but I in no way like it. And then the third one is absolutely a chop. It is that good old corset with shit glued on it. But this is even worse because it's like it's glued onto that and one of those cheap gathered pearl necklace situations that everybody seems to have when they wear their little pageant outfits. It looks like somebody took a whole bunch of like Fisher Price toys and glued them on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just went into my 3-year-old nephew's room and took everything out of his little play kitchen and glued it on my outfit. I get what Anna was saying when she said, I wish you would have just had like a jumbo donut on your head or something. It was like, I do feel like that. I feel like there are things that she possibly could have done without it being so literally taking food stuff and gluing it on her to do that. Because I feel like the downside is all this does is make you look like the bottom of a movie floor. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't even look elegant or clean or anything like that. You know, it's just very messy. So it's chop, chop, chop. Oh, wait. I have them.
Yeah.
Time to
My niece has a whole kitchen set, and those are the toys that were in her kitchen set. The canned goods, the play fruit, the play, all of those. It's just, I was like, I've seen these, I know these, I bought these, so I know what this looks like. And it's just a bunch of play food canned things stuck on a corset. I did not like this Capital Sins look. I don't like any of these looks. I'm trying my best not to plead all three of them because I'm not a fan of any of the looks at all. So, I think if I was going to pick, I think the second look is better than most of the looks. The hell look is the best out of the three looks. But I'm not a big fan of these three looks.
Now, I think we all knew that Miss Pupi Poisson was going to come into this episode and she was going to struggle. I did not realize the bus of the struggling would be this severe.
The bus has no gas.
The bus has no gas. It has been parked on the side of the road for 3 weeks.
The transmission dots.
Mold is growing on the seats for some reason. We're still not sure how. It's now considered a radioactive site.
Exactly. A nest of woodland creatures who have built a home in the trunk.
And they need to get out because it's now radioactive.
That part. We don't need any radioactive squirrels.
No. I will agree with you both in saying that I think the hell look is the most well executed. I actually think the garment here is not bad. This makeup is atrocious.
I don't think the garment is that horrible either. It obviously seems like it does not belong to her.
No, she borrowed this from somebody much more fabulous than her.
You know how like certain people can wear certain things and it does. I mean, that's a historic quote that I always remember from Paris is Burning when they were talking about mopping things versus like you not having something. It's like you can tell the way that someone wears something and how they move in it and stuff if they bought it or if they got it from somebody else. And like, and ever since I heard that, I always randomly will see that with entertainers where I'm like, why does it look like you don't know how to move in your own clothes? And I was like, you borrowed that from somebody. That's not yours.
Yeah. I think the Heaven look, there is potential. I just needed it to be something that's not a solid blue gown. I would have loved if there was like clouds on it or something. A sun, perhaps.
Blue. Like,
yeah, no. This Capital Sins, I actually think there's a way to take all of these materials and make them into a more glamorous gown. And unfortunately, I just don't think she did it. Because I think, depending on how much of the pearls you have, if you just make the entire bodice pearls, and then you take that pink panel she's got in the back, turn it into a skirt, and have those, like, the food things falling down the skirt, I think it actually could be, like, I'm thinking of, I don't like her, but I'm thinking of Priscilla Chambers when she did the pill look on Dragula. Like, you could do something along those lines with this, and I think it could have ended up being anything better than what she did here.
Yeah, I was also thinking that too. I was like, what would I have even tried to do in that situation if I had gluttony and I had those materials?
I would do pearls on the top. I would do like a draped pearl situation on the top, coming like tight to the neck and then drape down the bodice. And then take whatever fabric I have and take all those things and just put it on the bottom or have them cascading down as if they're falling out of my mouth.
You know what I would do?
Hmm.
And I just thought about it because it looks like that. The only thing that, actually, no, I don't think that would work. The only way, I don't know. The only way that it probably would work is I would have to probably make some look like letters. But I was like, what I would do is I would make a dress that looks like a refrigerator. And I would put all of those things on me like magnets.
That'd be cute.
I was like, how could you utilize those little things without them just specifically looking like little toys? And I was like, well, they do kind of look like magnets.
She
what if she was a fridge? It's gluttony, so it's food. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
she just got the worst box, unfortunately.
I feel like that too. I feel like she just got really shitty material.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that what you would have ended up having to do with I feel like sometimes they do that. They give you a whole bunch of crappy things because you think so much in your head, I have to use this that they gave me. So you keep trying to integrate all this crap into what they gave you as opposed to coming out with a solid look that could fit the category and then just adding some of that into it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would have tried to do a completely different dress and not rely so much on those little things and just use them to add as opposed to
like a headpiece with the little things on it.
Yeah, something like that.
Or the jewelry could have been the little things. Like definitely something like that. But scores, I'm scared to ask.
Yeah. Miss Pupi was my homegirl that I was like, yeah, your bottom placement was very deserved, my dear.
Uh-huh.
I'm giving these 30s across the board because I can't give a solid 100 to her for this week.
Got it.
I'm giving her Heaven a 40. I'm giving her Hell a 50. And I am pleading for her capital sins.
So Lana is also not giving her 100 across the board at all.
No.
Great. I am going to give her Heaven look a 37. I'm going to give her Hell look a 47. And now what's 100 minus 37 minus 47? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give the capital sins a 12. And I know based on math, that also means I will also not be giving her across the board.
Sorry, Miss Poison. It was just a little poopy this week.
You had two semi-lovely weeks. Well, you had one lovely week last week. That's all. Let's move on to someone who did much better in this ball, and that's Hornella Gongora.
My baby.
And mine.
Miss Hornella. Can I honestly say that for me personally, I would have been very okay with Juriji and Hornella top 2.
We'll see if your scores reflect that later.
I will say that. Because the for me, when it came down to the way everyone did, to be honest with you, Hornella and Samantha are two people that were safe that easily I felt like could have been top 2. Based off of going back and looking at their packages, I'm like, and how strong they were on all 3 of them. I'd say that Hornella was a little bit weaker in her capital sins than Samantha was, though. But I loved her Heaven look. I love this like ethereal, and I love that she always comes with these stories that have almost this empowering queer message behind them. And so she's like talking about taking all these slings and arrows from people that don't like you, you know what I mean? But then we turn them into flowers because we're queer, we're divine. I'm like, I for some reason I end up buying what she's selling. I really do, because I don't know. I feel like that she's one of those people that just seems like, regardless of her drag, she's just a good person. And I love, and that energy always comes through whenever she's on stage. I feel like that's her hidden it factor thing that she's always had. Is she just has this genuineness that's just like badass. So like, I loved her Heaven look. The hair look, I love the Anubis head. It was giving. When she took the Anubis head off and had that wet hair on, I said, okay, Miss Hornella. I said, I like it. I wish I could have got a little bit more with the outfit, but I'm not completely knocking it because I do like the concept, and I still like that this is something different from Hornella because this isn't like how she usually presents. More rockery. The capital sins for me, the only thing that I would be envious of is I would want to wear that outfit, but the outfit itself doesn't scream envy. I do remember that she was saying that she was wanting to go on like a snake route with this to kind of go with envy, you know what I mean? And that's why I was hoping would happen with the green fabric that she had. How she had envy and they didn't give her any snake fabric whatsoever is kind of ridiculous to me, since the homegirl had gluttony and you gave her every toy food you could find. I'm like that's, I felt like that was a little bit of a setup as well, because I'm like, okay, how are you going to fully portray envy out of these fabrics that don't necessarily scream envy? But I still feel like she did a good job with it. I like the magnifying glasses all in the hair, and the one she's always like looking at people or whatever. I was like, okay, you're nosy. I get that. Okay, I get that. It's getting more nosy than envious, but it's still in the not minding your own fucking business family. So I'm cool with that. But all in all, I still think Hornella did a great job. Like I said, personally, I was very okay with her being safe, but I could have saw her in the top 3. I could have saw her in the top 3 or Samantha. More so than Sagittaria. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think for me, her heaven look was good. Heaven look was really good. Really good. I liked it. I like the gold. I like the one leg. I like the headpiece. I like how she presented it. I like the heaven look. I love her hair look. I think her hair look was one of my stronger looks this week. Definitely in the top of the looks for hair. It was so good. I love the head. I like when she took it off. Everything about it was just like, yes. Love that. The capital sins though was my weakest look for her, and it was just so basic for me. And it was just like, I hated that was the look that followed all these 2 amazing looks for her. It was like, who went from yes to oh, that's it. Oh, and that's how you ended it with me. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I liked, it was fine. It just was such a step down from what she showed us previously. So that's it.
I also really enjoyed what Hornella gave in this ball. I thought, we'll see where my scores land on her. Mm-hmm. She might have been in my top. I'm not too sure. I think the heaven look, I think it's very, very well done. It's a tad simple. I would have liked a little bit more than just the corset with all the stuff on it. For that, but I don't mind it. I love the sun, the rays of sun behind her. I think the overall effect is very effective on that heaven look. The hell look for me is my favorite for sure. The Anubis head is gorgeous. I love all of the gold jewelry and jeweling that we have going on in the top. I think it's a very simple look, but it's very well executed. I got exactly what she said. What she meant to do. The capital sins. Now I looked at her box again, the little bit we saw of her box. They really gave her absolutely nothing to work with, and I think she did exceptional with the nothing she got. My favorite part is all the magnifying glass headpieces. That is just so good to me. I love that whole effect.
It even looks good in the hair.
Exactly. I'm like, it's so good. The top is, glittered, and the glittering doesn't look all that good. And the skirt is it a jumpsuit?
Because it's all connected.
Okay. Okay, yeah. The jumpsuit, well, the top of the jumpsuit, what I'm at. It like you can see that the glittering isn't, all the best. Some of the glitter got on the other side that maybe wasn't supposed to have glitter. I don't know. The skirt situation train is, a piece of fabric wrapped around her body. I think she did the best she could with what she was given. And I'm not mad. That's my daddy. I'm not mad at, I'm not mad at Hornella here. So
for me, it's a good, safe, clean look, but it doesn't fully hit the criteria on the head.
Agreed.
So for my scores, I actually think that I'm probably gonna end up that Hornella's probably gonna get shifted down a little bit, which is funny because then I think Samantha is gonna be my top 2. That's kind of crazy.
We'll see.
So Hornella's Heaven look, I will give an 85. Her Hell look, I will give a 95. And then her Capital Sins look, I'll give an 80.
Okay.
You know what? My son. Her Heaven look.
You can and you will.
I am and I will. I'm gonna give it an 84.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 84. Her Heaven look. I will give her Hell look a 95.
Okay.
I will give her Capital Sins look a 75.
Okay. I'm gonna give her Heaven look an 81. I will give her Hell look a 97. And I'm gonna give her Capital Sins a 77. Because it's above that average 70 for me. There's enough detail to bring it above that for me, but
absolutely.
I can't give it.
I can't give it much more than that though.
Yeah. And last up, Drag Sethlas.
Drag Sethlas. Drag Sethlas for me was safe. Strong safe. But safe.
We'll see if your scores reflect that, Eve.
We shall. But in my mind, the way that I had things put up, I would have had Drag Sethlas as third. Possibly second, just given how strong the Heaven and Hell looks came off, more so than the Capital Sins look. But for me, when it came to like the overall package, I think she did the assignment. She did the damn assignment. I can't act like that she didn't. The Heaven look I thought was amazing, immaculate. I love the puffer cloud coat. That was everything for me. I loved the dress. It was very Drag Sethlas coded. Very like a huge platform heel and a huge headpiece and you know what I mean, very Drag Sethlas coded. The Hell look was insane. I thought the Hell look was fire, especially realizing what it was in reference to being like her own personal hell for like a social media thing or whatever that she ended up going through. And like even then, without that story, it still looked torturous. You know what I mean? Like when she came around and I just saw this blacked out figure in this ridiculously gorgeous gown that looks like it's on fire, and then she looks like she's being attacked by birds, and then she's got all these microphones in her face. I'm like, this girl is fighting her life out, her life away, fighting for her life, whatever she's doing. And so I lived for it. And then the story, of course, I felt like just kept elevating it. I was like, okay, it still has that grandeur that we have noticed and that we usually get from Drag Sethlas, because Drag Sethlas is very much another one of those more is more type entertainers. But I liked this. I love the connection to Hell for her for that one. For Capital Sins, I can't fully fault her on the look. Is the look simple? Yes. Does the look fill the brief? Yes. I would say this is safe for when it comes to capital sin. This isn't pushing the boundaries in any way because, I mean, she's doing vanity. Of course, there's going to be some kind of mirrors involved or whatever. The pieces that she has aren't ridiculously hard or complicated pieces it looks like to make. That little cardboard head thing around her head probably wasn't hard to make. The little bodysuit area here probably wasn't hard to make. I mean, it doesn't even have titties. So it's one of those kind of things where I was like, I understand a bit of the frustration that Sagittaria was having in reference to her capital sins look and how it was judged. But when I paid attention to judging, it seemed like they spent more time applauding her hell look and her heaven look than they did her capital sin look. So it would be different for me if it would have been a thing where the judges were like, this is the best representation of capital sins out of everybody on the runway, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Anna was crying over her hell look. They barely talked about her capital sins look. So I feel like that was probably for them more of what put her in the top two than this last look. But for some reason, Sagittaria was just obsessed with this last look being the reason why she made top two. And like I said, I think it was because of the fact that she thinks that if she wouldn't have made top two with this, that Sagittaria would have made it since Sagittaria made top three. And in my mind, I don't think she would have been top two either. I feel like that these were really strong first two looks. I feel like the third look just got the job done for me.
Yeah, I think this is a decent package for overall for Drag Sethlas. I think the capital sins look was very basic, very simple, but it hit the thing. It got, like you said, it got the job done. It wasn't anything extraordinary, spectacular, or anything like that. I do think this hell look is amazing. And I love this headpiece on this heaven piece. I like the big puffer coat too as well in the heaven piece. I'm not. I like the artwork on the dress, like the eagle, well, the dove. I think that's beautiful going into heaven and the light shine. I'm not a fan of the full dress, but I think it's cute. It's definitely screams heaven to me. It screams heaven, and I'm like, yes.
Did you notice that the rest of the panels going down are supposed to be stairs?
Like stairs, yeah. It's the stairway to heaven. And I was like,
oh wait, that's kind of sickening.
It's cute. It's very cute. My only issue with that is it looks a little uneven with the way it's shaped by, but I'm guessing it's just on her body. It's just looking that way. It has nothing to do with the actual artwork on it, but it's still gorgeous. It's still gorgeous. I still think it's a beautiful interpretation of heaven. I see heaven when I look at the dress. I love the hairpiece and all the crosses because it's like a bunch of crosses in that headpiece to make up that headpiece, and it's so pretty and beautiful. Her hair piece, I was like, even if you don't know the story or whatever, and I didn't know what she went through, but when she came, I was like, I know exactly what it is. Something happened. She had a public something came against her publicly. The birds who could represent the tweets, all the Twitter folks, and the tweets went out about her, and she had to defend herself. And that's hell going through a social media public shaming or public canceling or whatever they do and they tried to do to her. She had to go through that public scrutiny, and that's just like
that before.
It feels like that's the end of the world, like when everybody is coming at me at one time and I don't know how to defend myself because this is a misunderstanding or whatever. I didn't say this or I didn't do it. Was crazy, and it wasn't like, and this, her putting on the all black bodysuit was like, it might not just be my story. It's plenty of people who go through this public shaming and public scrutiny, and they have to deal. So it's like, this could be any celebrity, any person, anybody who's gone through being canceled on these Twitter streets or whatever. So I love that. I loved how the hell look came out. And yeah, the capital sins was just enough. It got the job done.
Something that it just made me think of Lana, I don't know if you knew about this or not, but when did you start watching Drag Race?
This is last year.
Okay. So, a couple of years ago during season 10, Asia O'Hara was on that season, and she made top 4. There was a little bit of a snafu during her finale performance, but at the end, overall, like, she had a really great runway package. She was really nice. She was really sweet. Everybody liked her. Amazing performer, drag royalty. Like, Asia O'Hara is like drag legend. But it got to a point where when they would go on tours for meet and greets and stuff like that, no one would speak to her. She said that there were so many reports of them going to meet and greets and things like that, and them going to all of the other 3 top 4 finalists who are all white, and she was the only black person, and no one would speak to her. They would completely pass by her. So she started doing this thing where she went to all of her meet and greets and public appearances in a full, all blacked out bodysuit like that under her clothes. So she would basically, when they would take pictures at any meet and greet or whatever, she would be wearing whatever beautiful gown or outfit or whatever she was wearing, but she would be completely blacked out like that because she said that's how she felt.
Wow.
And so, like, that's something too that, like, when I saw that, that's when I was like, that it just automatically registered in my mind, you're alone. You know what I mean? Like, it just gave that. Like, that's why when you said, like, you didn't even have to explain it. And when I thought of that too, I was like, yeah, you don't. Because it's just, it just, the picture of it, especially at the bottom, it just looks like someone is by themselves
fighting for their life.
That's just really what it looks like. They don't have, they're not fully seen. They're not fully respected. Their point is not coming across. They are just this shadow person. And I'm like, it was some good stuff. It was some good stuff. That was some good drag.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Logan. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, because I also thought of that. I also thought of Asia, seeing that. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Heart.
It did. These first 2 looks are some of the best things I've ever seen on Drag Race. Period. Like, and if that's the reason she was top 2 in this episode, fine. I get it. I understand this elaborate headpiece on the first look, and her makeup is so different here too. She went a little bit more subtle with her eye shape, which I think is really, really interesting. I got on the second watch that the dress was like the steps to heaven. I got that. I didn't get it on first watch, but I love the cloud poof. Like, it's so just stupidly good. The how look, I mean, what is there to say other than yes? And it's such a powerful statement. Knowing what she went through before, during, and after her season, I think makes it an even like stronger statement for me. And I related to that a lot. The garment itself being made of newspaper clippings of the whole situation, it's so good. Which is why
I bet it also read a lot differently if you were there, being able to like really
being able to see the whole thing. Yeah. And I think both of those are, like I said, 2 of the best things I've ever seen on Drag Race, which is why this third look disappointed me so much. For me, it's like, I appreciate the amount of time and the craftsmanship that was put in, especially with all of the glass pieces, because that is a lot of work.
And I appreciate drag Sethlas' nipples.
Yes, always. However, it is a bodysuit with most of the boobical area exposed. And all we get is this corset situation, the neck piece, and a basic panty, and a little accessory on her boot, one of which literally fell off when she was on the runway. No. It didn't do it for me. Personally, I was so disappointed with that. I understand why she was top 2, because those first 2 looks are some of the best things we've ever seen. But that third look disappointed me so heavily. And it's probably going to be why she's not in my top 2 points.
It makes me think of, like, you know what we say when some girls will think that when it comes to doing a design challenge, okay, well, yes, the silhouette is simple, this and that, but if I just encrust the shit out of it with whatever I've got, then it'll work. You know, a la Alexis Michelle trying to put all those damn turquoise stones
turquoise embellishments.
Yes, on this damn corset, and us thinking it was going to save the day, and it didn't. And I was like, that's kind of what happened here. It's like the effect looked great, but really all you did was just glue a whole bunch of mirrors onto an outfit.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Scores.
So for me, I would say the Heaven is going to get a 90. Hell is going to get a 95. Actually, I'm going to make Hell a full cup.
Thank you.
I'll do a full cup for Hell.
I was about to be real mad at you, ma'am, so you corrected yourself before I yelled at you.
Capital Sins, I'll give an 80.
Okay.
For me, I gave Heaven an 89. I gave Hell a full cup. And I gave Capital Sins a 60.
For Heaven, I'm going to give it a... You know what? No, I'm going to give it a full. Because I think that Heaven look is good. The Hell look... Let me find my banner real quick. That Hell look, that's Mugther. That's Mugther right there. For me.
Look, Mugther was still 100% points.
I know, but I'm making the distinction because the distinction for me needs to be made.
Understood.
But numerically, it is 100.
Mm-hmm.
Her Capital Sins looks like about 50% of an outfit, so I will be giving her a 50. Because for me, I got the category. I did not get the construction.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
So,
fair.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I agree with that. Fair.
So, we get our critiques. We find out that Hornella and Samantha Ballentines are safe, which I can tell everyone very shortly here whether we agreed with that.
I can tell you now, I did not.
I did not.
I didn't agree with it either. Cool. I think, Hey, thanks, David, who's not even here. He's doing the rankings for me.
We love David look trolling and looking at the back at the
literally
at the Google Docs while we're doing this, and he can put it in the rankings for us as we speak. We love
literally he's doing all of our rankings right now. I think that is the funniest thing. I'm gonna share his too because I actually think it's really interesting. We're all pretty like, he only did ours, the three of ours.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you his too, as far as rankings are concerned, because I have it. So we find out that Samantha and Hornella are safe. Our top two is Sethlas and Juriji, which mother getting a win, period, mother. And Sethlas is now the second person ever to win the first 3 challenges of a season. And the only other person that's done that is Ben de la Christ.
Yep.
And we find out that our bottom two, for some weird reason, is Pakita, and very deservedly, Pupi Poisson. Now, here is what we think.
Okay.
So, I'm going to start with David's. So, David's top two, which is the only one different from any of ours, spoiler. David's top two is Sagittaria and Juriji.
Okay.
His third person in the top would have been Pakita.
Okay.
And his bottom two would have been Samantha and Pupi.
Absolutely not.
No, Samantha would have been at the bottom, dog.
I know.
I love you, David. I love you, David.
But no.
This is kind of wild. As a reminder for everyone before I give our rankings, because some of these rankings are wild as hell. As a reminder, for the ball, we weight the first two looks together as 50% of the score. So each one of them is 25% of our score each. And the look they made is the other 50% of the score.
Oh.
And I'm going to preface that before, because some of this, now that I'm looking at it, some of this is wild as shit. So,
Ooh.
So Eve, we're going to start with you. Your top score of the night was Juriji.
Mm-hmm.
And you also had Samantha in your top two.
Yeah.
Your third place was Sethlas.
I thought so.
Wait, what?
Go ahead. No, I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay. Your absolutely safe person was Hornella.
Mm-hmm.
Your bottom two would have been Sagittaria and Pupi with Pakita low. So you were right in that regard.
Yeah. I was like, that's how I felt like my ranking would have felt.
Now, here's where shit gets a little interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I was like, mine is not that.
Next up is Lana. Now, Lana, your top score of the night is Samantha Ballentines.
I could see that. Yeah. Because the more I looked at it, I was like, I think I like it a little bit more.
And your second placement was Juriji.
Yeah.
I will say your scores are 1.5 points off from each other.
Okay.
So it was very, very close.
Like, looking back at Samantha's package again, I was like, she was really strong.
Absolutely.
That was amongst the three of us, we all had Samantha and Juriji in the top two. So that was amongst the three of us. That was our consensus. So everywhere else is where it gets kind of crazy. Your third person in the top, Lana, was Pakita.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You would have had Sagittarius safe.
Mm.
Your bottom two, Lana, is Pupi Poisson and Drag Sethlas.
Okay.
You had Sethlas.
I could, in my world, where I could see that because her third look just drug it all the way down for me. Yeah. Her top two looks were strong, and I gave it a full cup for the hell look. But that third look just drug it all the way down for me. And I can see that.
And then you would have had Hornella as low.
Okay.
Now here's where shit gets a little bit crazier.
Oh.
When you get to mine.
Okay.
So my top placement of the night was Juriji.
Mm-hmm.
And my other top placement would have been Samantha Ballentines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My third person in the top was Hornella.
Okay.
I can see that.
I can see that too.
I definitely see it. I will say third, fourth, and fifth for me are separated by 1.5 points.
Okay.
So I had a very close. So my safe. So for context, my overall average score for Hornella was an 83. For Sagittaria, who was safe for me, was an 82.75.
Mm-hmm.
And for Pakita, who would have ended up in my low placement by process of elimination, I gave her an 81.5 average.
Okay.
So your bottom two was Pupi and Pakita.
No, my bottom two was Pupi and Drag Sethlas.
Sethlas. Oh my gosh.
But Sethlas for me had a 75. That's the thing. Is like all of them are so close together.
I think same thing for you too, though. It was that last runway.
I gave her 2 fulls and a half.
Yeah, because I gave her, I think an 8. I think I gave her
an 80
score on her last look.
Mm-hmm.
Of the three of us, you gave her the highest score on the last one for sure. Yep. But that's what I find so interesting. Because this was, I would say overall, I think 6 people did a phenomenal job at this ball, and Pupi Poisson is really what it comes down to for me. So I think 6 people did above average or better.
In most of
Pupi Poisson.
Yeah.
I think it was Ball and Pupi Poisson was there.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. She attended
and
did not look that great. But
she was someone's +1.
Correct. Yes.
There were only 5 invites.
Nobody was really looking at her. She was just
No.
there with the celebrity, you know.
The celebrity was the celebrity being Juriji Der Klee.
Right. She was the assistant to the celebrity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's talk about this Untucked, because we've already kind of talked about it a little bit. This is where Sagittaria goes off because she's upset about Sethlas being in the top. And hey, to be fair to her, none of the 3 of us would have had Sethlas in the top 3 or the top 2. So
what got me personally was given the way that everyone else performed and what Samantha was saying. In my mind, I was going, did you do better than Drag Sethlas personally? Because in my mind, I was like, I understand you possibly being frustrated and not thinking that Sethlas is in the top, but who do you think is supposed to be there instead of Sethlas? You? I wouldn't agree with that. That's just how that would shake down. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I would see other people like I did Samantha. I was like, I could see someone else easily that would be in the top 2 before I put you up there. So I don't understand why it was one of those, like, it was weird because, like, it was undeniable that Juriji won and got her spot, you know. But at the same time, I just felt it did seem like it came off a bit contrived as to her not getting this win, you know what I mean, or not being in the top 2. And I think a lot of it came from, I think part of it was some insecurity, because I have said I feel like that she's been very pretty but very dry since she's been here, and maybe the judges have been telling her that too. And maybe that's something that's in the back of her mind, is that maybe she's not shining as bright as she needs to, or isn't doing as well as she needs to. And Sethlas then week 3 ends up in the top all over again. So I know she's probably annoyed by that. You know what I mean? So I feel like that there was a little bit more. I feel like that she wouldn't have had that conflict with anyone else this episode, but Sethlas. That would have been the only person that she would have ever had any animosity with. But, like, it was really weird how, like, so mad about it she was. And I'm just like, but at the end of the day, girl, you're still safe, too. So shut up. Like, you're not the bottom. It'd be different if you were in the bottom saying this. But you're safe.
Yeah.
You were high safe. You were 3rd.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing for me. I'm like, I get it. I get the frustration. But I'm like, if we look at it, well, I mean, I guess she's kind of like, she was 3rd. And if she wasn't 3rd, if Sethlas wasn't up there, she would have been 2nd. Or, you know, she felt like their position should have been swapped. Or,
right, like Sethlas took her spot.
Right. And it's kind of like, sure, you think that, but we don't know for sure if that was the case. We don't really know if that was the case. Maybe Sethlas had way more points than you, and you just happen to have enough points to be 3rd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I understood Sagittaria's frustration. I understood because I think she was more concerned about the last look and just disregarded the first 2 looks from Sethlas. Right. And I'm like, even though, yeah, it's a challenge, and her 3rd look was kind of not great.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't as bad as Sagittaria was making it out to be.
Right. It wasn't like it was the worst look that came out that somebody made. Like,
it wasn't Pupi's.
Right. Pupi's look was way worse.
And also, to be fair, Sagittaria may not, to give a little bit of credit to Sagittaria, because I also think, you know, she spoke some truths in this for sure. Whether it came from a place of her being angry at Sethlas as opposed to being angry with the judges is one thing. And I do think she was angry at Sethlas, and I think that anger should have been directed more towards the judging panel. I will say that.
I agree.
But what I will say as well is, in the midst of getting ready for the ball, who knows what kind of look Sagittaria would have gotten at what Sethlas gave for the first 2 categories. So she may not even seen them, and just is going off of the look that she sees, because that's the look on the runway that they all stood in those looks for 2 hours.
Right.
Getting the critiques. So in her mind and in the heat of this pressure cooker, we know it brings out some things in some of these girls that they don't like showing and that they wouldn't show otherwise. And she probably wouldn't have, as intense of a reaction had she, not been in the pressure cooker of Drag Race. And had she seen what we're seeing, right. I don't know that she, for the first time, mind you, I don't know that she would have had that same sort of reaction. You know what I mean? Like, I think things would have been a little bit softer from her. I mean, she's doubling and tripling down on social media. And honestly, I'm kind of here for it. I'm like, I get it and I understand it. Because at the end of the day, the situation was that they were commenting mostly on Sethlas' first and second looks and how incredible they were. And they are incredible.
Right.
And I agree with you.
Anna was up there crying about Sethlas' second look. And the thing is, Sagittaria was making this whole narrative about the judge's decision based off the third look. And I was like, they didn't really gush about the third look.
I was going to say, to your point that you made earlier, I don't remember them saying really anything about her third look.
And I think that could be the problem for Sagittaria as well. It's like we're talking so much about these first two looks, and we're not even addressing how not good this third look is, how simple and how basic this third look is. But you talk about everybody else's third look, you just.
And then I can understand.
And that would frustrate me.
No, but you can't say that when you were wearing that.
I mean, look, in her mind, she was gorgeous.
In her French vanilla,
she was everything. She had a Peter's dress on.
Right. She was like,
I have a dress and I'm shaped like a penis. Y'all don't see this? It's
in her French vanilla fantasy that she's living in, that she stole from Valentina. Like, she is wearing the single best thing on the runway on this evening. There is a level of delusion, and I get that, and there is inconsistency in the judging, and I agree with that. No one looks good in this scenario coming out of it, honestly.
No, it really doesn't, because
nobody looks good. Sagittaria doesn't look good. Sethlas doesn't look good. Pupi certainly didn't look good. We saw her looks, and the judges don't look good either. So
it's like there were so many inconsistencies with this judging panel, and I wanted to rant about that because I was very annoyed with how we, like you said, with Sethlas' look, they gushed about the first two looks, which were beautiful, but said nothing about the third look. They did it differently when it came to Pakita. We love your first, we liked the first, but that third look was just not enough. And we gonna talk about how this third look wasn't enough. Same thing with Pupi. These were looks, but this third look was not good. And that it was like, but if we're going to talk about everybody's third look but Sethlas, but we're just going to gush about her first two looks, which she brought with her and had time to get them made for her, or she made them, whatever, it was still more time to do it than. But we're going to focus on those looks and not the third look that she did make, and it wasn't good. Now, at least say that. At least address the issue that your first two looks, phenomenal, beautiful, gorgeous. This third look, little shaky, not that great, but these first two looks were so good. And I think that's the problem.
The main part of the challenge is
the third look. So I feel like the inconsistencies come with the judges. And I feel like that's where it annoyed me the most. It pissed me off because I was like, how are we doing this? And how are we judging each contestant differently off of different looks? Their first two looks that they brought and had time to get made or made themselves. But then you give more emphasis on the third look for some and not for everybody. So it bothered me at the inconsistency to the point where I was like, you know what, España, I might have to just leave y'all at the door because I can't deal with these inconsistencies, because this is the second time in España that I've watched that they did this inconsistent judging to where it pissed me off. And I'm like, y'all started to make me finally get to a point in my drag watching career and say, this franchise I won't watch anymore because y'all don't know.
I get it.
Y'all don't. Y'all are too. Like every other franchise, I'm like, I can stick around even if I see some foolishness happening. It's not that bad. It's not as like, yeah, you my best friend. I see you, and I'm gonna do you how I want because you my friend. You know, we go. But this is just blatant, and it was so inconsistent. I'm just like, ugh. This episode pissed me off.
And before y'all come in the comments being like, oh my God, Lana, you need to watch España season 1 and 2 because it's not the same. I've already told her.
And I'm not.
I've already told her. I know. I'm just telling y'all.
Yes.
Y'all. I'm looking at y'all, or y'all can hear me, depending on where you're listening or watching to us. We've already told her. Don't worry.
And
we told her.
And
that's fine.
Because I don't want.
Hey, I don't blame you. Anyway, we go to
2 seasons of one girl steamrolling everybody.
Yeah.
Ooh, well.
But I was like, hello? Eve said, I'm gonna drop that bomb and I'm gonna leave.
I'm gonna get up out of here, but I'll be back.
Anyway, we go to the lip sync. We've got Sethlas and Juriji lip syncing to Llorando por ti by Que Umenerva. This was cute. This was a cute little
yes.
I don't have a problem with Drag Sethlas. I do think that there was something that was done that was ridiculously irresponsible on Drag Sethlas' part.
Yep.
It needs to be noted. Effectively, did it look great? Sure.
Yes.
But Drag Sethlas smashed a mirror all over the stage. And actually, I saw through Twitter comments with Juriji and other people that Juriji did not know that Drag Sethlas was going to do that at all and ended up cutting herself on that glass. And so, like, that's a huge drag no-no if it comes to, like, doing something with fire or doing something with water or doing something with even glitter or something like that. Like, you have to be cognitive of other people that are going to be on the stage and in the area with you, because you don't know who is going to slip on something, who's going to step on something. And, like, what if Juriji fully, like, really, like, thankfully she didn't go over to that area that much when that happened. But what if she didn't pay any attention to the fact that he broke that glass and she just rolled into that shit or something, and they have to stop mid freaking recording because she's bleeding out everywhere? Like, that's when you got to be like, you got to be responsible when it comes to stuff like that. And I really wish that Drag Sethlas would have approached that differently, or had some kind of thing where they had him do it, and then they moved off to one side of the stage, and so the camera didn't show the other half of the stage, and they cleaned it up while they did that or whatever, so that way they can go back and then, you know, still actually use the rest of it.
Or if she did it like on the corner of the stage, on that front left corner of the stage for her, like, do it over there. It'd still have the same impact because the judges are clearly looking at you because they're obsessed with you and they can't see anybody else other than you.
Yeah.
No shade to Sethlas because she's talented, but do it over there so that way it's as far away from your other person as possible. I was going to bring that up as well because I was very frustrated with that.
I was out throughout the entire lip sync because
me too.
Like, I knew that she didn't know that it had happened, so I'm sitting there the entire time going, okay, oh my god, like, is she getting close? Is she getting close? Like, I couldn't even enjoy the lip sync because I'm like, any flip or something somebody did, I'm like, please don't roll in the glass.
When she started running after Sethlas, I was like, God, don't let her. No,
I was like, if she falls, it's over. Oh, Jesus, God.
Yeah, you know what else I thought was irresponsible? And, I mean, Sethlas is wearing glass. She's wearing glass. And then she started to crawl and roll her body over Juriji. And I'm like, girl, I know you didn't, like,
I know you cutting this child.
You cutting her up right now because those things got still is cut edges, and you're rolling your body over this woman, and you can be cutting her up all up in here. Right? She's like, that wasn't a moan of pleasure. That was a moan of ouch. She cutting me right now. Like, I thought that was very dangerous, and I'm like, I need you to think about what you're doing, what you're wearing, and how you interact with someone else when you're wearing glass pieces. Like, don't roll your body on somebody when you're wearing a glass corset. Like, don't do that. You can be cutting them up. That's something that I was like, I agree. I couldn't enjoy the lip sync because I was too worried about how somebody might get cut up.
And then they said, apparently, I think I didn't fully notice it. I think I may have caught a clip when they told Juriji she was safe and she waved up to the judges that the inside of her hand was red. But that someone had said something to the effect of like noticing that she had been visibly cut on camera on the show. And Juriji had replied to it. It's like, yeah, I got cut because Drag Sethlas, and I didn't know, and they didn't cut scenes, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, that's crazy. I'd be suing. I'd be suing.
Somebody go get sued up in here today.
Right now. Y'all should maybe win that lipstick. I'm getting cut the fuck up.
Right. I hope that Sethlas took that 2,500 euros that she won and replaced Juriji's lingerie that got ripped up because of the irresponsibility. I hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so.
That's crazy. I couldn't watch the lip sync. I'm gonna be honest because I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again before I.
So I did. I watched it twice. After I saw what happened, I watched it again. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Despite all the glass and all the glass and all the glass, I still think Juriji did better. I'm gonna be honest. I still think Juriji did better because I think Juriji was giving the energy of the song. Sethlas was doing what Sethlas does, and that's a good lip sync. But it doesn't really always fit the song if it's not a song that she's handpicking. Yeah, that's the thing. I also just thought about it. For me, I'm gonna be honest. It feels like Supreme and the Javis. It feels like their judging and their reactions and their everything like that. They are acting as if they are just Drag Race fans and they've never been to an actual drag show. That's, I think, what it feels like to me. I think I'm Sasha Bell. I think I cracked the code here because I feel like they are judging based off what they think the audience as Drag Race fans are going to enjoy the most instead of being impartial judges. Is that what it is?
Frisbee Jenkins cracks the code. Maybe.
I mean, we have a few similarities. I won't explain that further. Anyway, Sethlas wins this lip sync. Whatever. Because I can tell you for a fact that, or not for a fact, but I can tell you with almost complete certainty that Juriji Der Klee pulled Pupi Poisson's lipstick. They ain't trying to send Pupi Poisson home here. Therefore, they sacrificed Pakita because they don't give a fuck about her. That's what happened. Am I angry? Absolutely.
Nothing. I noticed and could tell that Drag Sethlas picked Pakita's lipstick because Pakita's is on the left and Pupi Poisson's is on the right, and they showed her pulling her arm back from the left.
Yep.
I was like, okay. Well, damn. I was like, well, you know, they're like furious that she did.
Well, yes, because production.
I noticed. I was like, is it the same for Sethlas? And they reversed it for Sethlas. I was like, no, I know what they saw. I know what I saw. But
yeah, because production didn't give a fuck about Pakita. Either season she was on, quite frankly.
I'm a little bit sad that I feel like two very strong people in their season that left when I didn't feel like they should have left in their season are now both gone.
Yep.
Right after each other. That's really kind of crappy.
Yep.
I will say, despite this being a shitty situation for Pakita, I'm so happy we got to see more Pakita. I smiled every single time she was on my screen. I truly, really do appreciate. She's one of the highlights for me of season 3. And she is going to be one of the few highlights of this season for me. And I just really do appreciate Pakita. I hope she gets another actual opportunity. Maybe Pakita, if your English is good, I hope your English is fluent. I would like to see you judged by RuPaul. I would like to see. I think if anybody could go on a global All Stars, I'd slay. I think it is our Pakita, and I personally would like to see it.
I would be down with that.
And I'm wondering whether the marriage proposal is still open on Eve's end and or on Lana's end. I don't know. I saved my comments on that until the very end of this because I was curious. I don't know. I will also extend. No I'm kidding. I love her though. She's such a bright light. I hope that I get to meet her at some point in my future and just tell her how much I appreciate her. That's what I hope. Yeah. So.
This for her. All the love for you. All the love for you, baby.
We love you. Yes. I
will say, I never took my proposal off the table. It was always open for.
We hadn't talked about it in a minute.
Not because I was like, sure. Yes, I appreciate that. It will never come off the table for Pakita. I am very sad and very annoyed. Like, this was the most annoying and frustrating elimination I've had in a long time. And I was like, it took me over the edge. Like, I would calm down and then something would trigger it and I'd think about it and I'd be mad again. And I was up to like 3:00 in the morning just festering in like how upset that made me because I watched it before I would. Like, I should have waited until the morning to watch it, but I watched it before I went to bed, and I was aggravated. And then somebody would say something in the chat, and then I was just mad about it all over again. Then I calmed down, and then somebody else would come back later on because, of course, we are all on different time schedules of sleep, and so we all say things later on in the chat. And so Eve said something, David said something, and I was mad. Then Logan said something, and I was mad. I calmed down. Then Eve comes and says something, I'm mad again. I was just 3:00 in the morning, so mad. And I was like, girl, calm down, go to sleep.
Stressing her out.
I was stressed out. I was so upset. This was the angriest I've been since Clover Beach. And I was like, España, y'all have done it to me again. And now I'm pissed. So I am starting to not like España, but
there's a bit of disdain.
Disdain for España. And I don't have this disdain for any other franchise yet. So get it together, España. Y'all are pissing me off because Pakita did not deserve to be in the bottom. Did not deserve to go home.
But you know who isn't pissing me off on the España panel? Untucked.
Untucked can stay.
The bright light, the apple of my eye, the diva. But in this moment, we love you, Pakita. Thank you for coming back so soon. Thank you for gracing our TV screens twice within a year, and we greatly appreciate you for it. So, we love you, girl. Come on the podcast if your English is fluent. I don't know. I hope so.
Please, if it's not,
I hope Clover and Visa taught her a little bit.
Oh, please.
I hope so. Please. I will do a draft update, but I will make it very quick because I know neither of y'all want to hear what the draft is like for this. Lana is in third place with 15 points. Eve is in second place with 20 points. And I am currently leading the draft with 34 points.
Mm-hmm. My hopes relies on Sagittaria.
She fucked next episode. She ain't gonna make it through next episode. Make it to the
next episode because they will punish her because she's mad at everybody. So
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
this was the worst draft ever.
Yeah. So Lana is now down to just Sagittaria. Eve is left with Juriji and Hornella, which I actually think is a pretty solid team, all things considered.
That's a solid team.
All things considered. And I still have my full team of Sethlas, Samantha, and Miss Poisson.
I mean, you winning because Sethlas is winning, but good on you.
Yeah. I'll take it. Hey, like I keep saying in other drafts, I'm either winning or flopping. So, you know,
I am in my flop era. I am definitely on this.
Yeah, you really are in your flop era. Oh no!
I love that for me. I'm flopping. I mean, Philippines was my shining moment.
Correct. That just means when we get France season 3 and when we get, Philippines season 3, you'll just get a great draft bunch. That's just what I'm feeling. It's the early year energy. This is where I thrive right now, Lana, and you will thrive later in the year when I'm in my flop era. So, I feel it. I feel it on the distant horizon. So
I will thrive in between.
You and David will just thrive in between, literally.
Oh man.
So next week it is girl group.
Yeah.
This week has been a lot on Drag Race between the prom challenge on Drag Den, 2 balls, a girl group, and a rusical. Jesus, I need a break.
I wonder if Sagittaria and Sethlas are going to end up on the same team.
I think it's Sethlas, Samantha, and Juriji, I think, are on the same team. We saw bits and pieces. I didn't clock exactly who was where, but it might be. I don't know. But regardless, we're going to get out of here because it's been a really long week of Drag Race recordings. They've all been about 2.5 hours. I want to cry. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for episode 3 of Drag Race España All-Stars. We are halfway through the season now. It's almost over. We will be back same time next week, same time, same place. Not with me. I will not be here. So when Sagittaria gets eliminated, we'll be back in some capacity to cover episode 4. Let us know in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode? Who did you think should have won? Are you also mad that Pakita got eliminated? Did you agree with what Sagittaria said? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag, and we've got exclusive content and early access coming coming for future series. Circling back to the memberships. Go hit the join button here on the channel or check out our Patreon. Same content, different platform. The link will be down in the description below. While you're at it, make sure to go subscribe to both of our other channels as well for almost all things reality TV and almost all things Eurovision Song Contest. Make sure to go follow our socials as well at the Cub Pot on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You will probably find at least a few moments from this episode either over here or on our YouTube shorts. So make sure to go check those out when we do. Make sure to follow the 3 of us down below as well. If you are in the Chicago area, go see Eva the show and go tip her, period. You could also go tip Lana, and you could also go tip myself. That'd be nice.
Super thanks. Tip us.
Period. Tip us in general. Super thanks is down there as well. I keep forgetting to bring that up now that we have membership. Super thanks is down there as well. And you could go get your merch in the description below, including but not limited to cup mug. Boom. With all that being said, I'm tired. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, we missed the lasers just barely. Adios.
Boy.
Farewell.
We stand analoging.